glad you're up there. I'm absolutely bobbing myself now. Okay. Yeah, take it slow.
Alex has officially driven this Bugatti Chiron per Sport for the first time since the rebuild began, and if you understand what it took to get to this moment, you know exactly why that sentence sounds so absurd. Right now, most people inside the automotive industry still can't believe what they're watching. A car worth over $6 million, rebuilt outside the factory, using custom-made radiators built entirely by hand. That's what makes this series different from every other rebuild on YouTube. And that's what makes this moment matter far beyond a single test drive. But let's be honest about something before we go any further. The real battle here was never one giant failure. It wasn't a single catastrophic moment that nearly killed this project. It was hundreds of tiny setbacks, relentless, grinding, cumulative, each one arriving the moment the previous one had just been solved. Every sensor, every pipe, every hidden module buried somewhere inside this car became its own separate nightmare. And every time Matt's team thought they turned a corner, the car found a new way to push back. Instead of hiding that reality, this series put all of it on camera. In front of millions of viewers, publicly, with no filter and no guarantee of a happy ending. And one person who deserves enormous credit throughout all of it is Bob. Because without him, this rebuild almost certainly doesn't reach this point. If you've been following since the beginning, you already know how close this project came to dying more than once. And if this is your first time here, do yourself a favor and subscribe right now, because what's about to happen in this video is the kind of moment that only comes around once in the lifetime of a YouTube channel. Because here's the thing that nobody is talking about yet: the car moving isn't even the real headline. The real headline is what it means. And that's the part that should make Bugatti genuinely uncomfortable. Let's go back to where this all started. When Matt Armstrong first acquired this Chiron per Sport, the automotive world split into two camps almost immediately. One group was fascinated. The other was completely certain this project would fail, and they weren't quiet about it. Comment sections were brutal. Forums filled up with people saying the same thing on repeat: a car like this cannot be rebuilt outside the factory. Bugatti's engineering is too complex, too proprietary, too locked away for any independent workshop to crack. And for a long time, looking at the state of that car, it was genuinely difficult to argue with them. But that's where things started getting interesting. Because the more Matt and his team tore into the Chiron, the more they uncovered something Bugatti had never wanted the world to look at too closely. Underneath the carbon fiber body, behind the legendary W16 engine, past everything that makes the Chiron feel like a machine from another dimension, the components start looking a lot more familiar than the price tag would suggest. Volkswagen Group parts, scattered throughout the car. Porsche crash sensors doing jobs that Bugatti charges extraordinary sums to diagnose. Lamborghini fuse boards sitting in places you'd never expect to find them. Aston Martin airbag systems, integrated into a vehicle that sells for over $6 million. The moment Matt's team started identifying these components, the mythology Bugatti had built around its exclusivity began cracking open, in real time, in front of a live audience that grew larger with every episode. That revelation alone would have been significant. But the deeper problem was still hiding underneath all of it. Even after the team cracked the component codes and began sourcing replacement parts, the car kept fighting back. The cooling system became the project's most dangerous enemy. Overheating, thermal runaway, temperatures climbing into ranges that could have caused catastrophic, irreversible engine damage if the team had pushed the car even slightly too hard, too fast. And every time they believed they had it under control, something else surfaced. A new pipe, a sensor reading incorrectly, a warning light telling them, once again, that the car still wasn't ready. This is the phase where most people watching at home expected the rebuild to quietly collapse, because cooling problems on a W16 engine aren't just inconvenient, they're existential. The Chiron's engine produces over 1,500 horsepower. The thermal demands involved are staggering. Get the cooling wrong, and you don't just damage a component. You potentially destroy an engine that Bugatti has made clear it has no interest in supplying replacement parts for. There was no safety net here. The pressure on this team during those weeks was something the comment section couldn't fully appreciate from the outside. And then the entire trajectory of the project changed. Because Matt Armstrong did something that almost no one had anticipated. He didn't wait for a factory solution. He didn't ship the car somewhere else. He built the answer himself. Custom fabricated radiators, handmade to specification, designed specifically around the thermal demands of this engine, in this car, in this configuration. Not an off-the-shelf fix. Not a compromise. A purpose-built solution, created from scratch inside an independent workshop by people who refused to accept that the problem was unsolvable. When those radiators went in and the temperatures began dropping to where they needed to be, something shifted in that workshop. The energy changed. The impossible started feeling, for the first time, like something that might actually have a finish line. But even then, nobody knew for certain whether the car would drive. There's a difference between a car that starts and a car that moves. And there's an even bigger difference between a car that moves and a car that actually drives, properly, confidently, the way it was engineered to. Every person on that team understood that the first real drive would either be the definitive breakthrough of the entire series, or the beginning of a whole new set of problems that nobody had anticipated yet. And then Alex got in the car. Think about what that moment actually felt like from where he was sitting. Months of setbacks. Months of stress. Months of watching this build get within reach and then get knocked back. Months of reading comments from people who were convinced it would never happen, who treated failure as the obvious conclusion from the very beginning. And now he's behind the wheel of a $6 million hypercar that his team rebuilt from near destruction, using handmade parts, salvaged components, independent problem solving, and a complete refusal to accept the word impossible. The door closed. The engine came to life. And the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport moved under its own power. If you've never rebuilt something with your hands and felt it work for the first time, it's hard to fully explain what that experience does to you. But watch Alex's face during those first moments behind the wheel, and you don't need an explanation. You can see it. Relief. Disbelief. The kind of smile that doesn't come from luck. It comes from earning something the long, difficult way, when plenty of people were betting against you the entire time. He drove it out of the workshop and into daylight. A car that Bugatti implied could not be repaired without factory involvement. A car that sat broken for so long that many people watching had quietly stopped believing it would ever move again. Rolling forward on its own power, in daylight, with Alex behind the wheel and a team watching in the kind of silence that only falls right before something genuinely historic. And here's why this moment is so much larger than a test drive. Every manufacturer in the hypercar space has spent years carefully constructing a narrative around exclusivity. The idea that these cars are so complex, so deeply engineered, so far beyond ordinary automotive reality, that they exist in an entirely separate category. And a central part of maintaining that narrative is ensuring that when something goes wrong, the only acceptable path forward runs directly through the factory. Authorized dealers only. Proprietary diagnostic software. Components that aren't available through any other channel. It isn't just a business model. It's a control system. And for years, it worked, because almost no one had the willingness, the skills, or the resources to challenge it publicly. This rebuild is dismantling that narrative, piece by piece, in front of an audience that keeps growing. Handmade radiators solving a thermal crisis that was supposed to be unsolvable without factory intervention. Porsche sensors and Lamborghini fuse boards and Aston Martin airbag systems functioning perfectly inside a Bugatti. An independent workshop achieving what the industry said couldn't be done. Not in secret, not quietly, but openly, on camera, with every setback and every breakthrough documented in real time. Bugatti has to be watching this. The entire hypercar industry has to be watching this. Because what Matt and his team have proven isn't just that this specific car can be rebuilt. They've proven that the wall these manufacturers built around their vehicles, the wall of complexity, exclusivity, and manufactured dependency, is not as solid as they needed everyone to believe. And now that the Chiron Per Sport is moving, the next chapter of this series is going to be something else entirely. If you've been here since the early episodes, drop a comment right now and tell me the exact moment you thought this rebuild was finished, because I want to know how many people this car has already proven wrong.